Namaskaram, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of the series named Transcend with Shubham. And today we are going to discuss about different aspects of the universe, mostly the masculine and the feminine. And after that, we will do a little dive into the aspect of deities, which is also my proficiency and my specialization in mystical sciences. So, without further ado, let's start the episode. But before we again start the episode, we would like to invoke the energies of the Guru. As I have stated beforehand, that who is a Guru, what is a Guru? That Guru is not a person, Guru is a dimension that dispels your darkness. Gu means darkness, tamas, ignorance, and Ru is the dispeller. So the one who dispels your darkness and ignorance is a guru. And Shiva is the ultimate guru because he is the founder of many aspects regarding alchemy, mysticism, spirituality, dance, music, all the things that you can, I would say, cherish in the diversity of the Indian culture has come from him. He is known as the Adi Guru, the first Guru. He is also known as the Adi Yogi, the first yogi. And as I have told that who is a yogi, what qualifies to be a yogic process, if you have not heard or listened or watched the series, please check out the previous episodes because the episodes that I am doing is just a in a chronological order. So if you are not clear with the terms like dharma, purusharth, purush, uh, artha, kama, moksha, liberation, nirvana, uh, spirituality, mysticism, all these terms are distinct and have a different, I would say, in terms of articulation and in terms of application utility. So please watch the previous episodes, get your facts clear, and then you will be able to derive the most out of these sessions because it becomes hard for me to explain every time who is a rishi, sage, seer, rishi, muni, sadhu, sant. So today we are going to dive into the aspects of the universe, like what is masculine, what is feminine, how the entire universe is, can be dissected for the sake of comprehensive clarity into masculine and feminine. And then we will go a little bit into the deities aspect, a little bit about occult and how occult uses various beings which are which do not look like us, but they help us in exploring different aspects of the universe and also gives us an unfair advantage over the world in a blunt way, to be said. So before that, let us invoke the energies of the Guru. We will invoke the energies of the mystics since we are delving into the mystical sciences. Now we are delving deeper and deeper. And as I am delving deeper, I would like you to have a little sense of intimacy because the things that I'm sharing here is very intimate. When I say intimate, it's not like two people are rubbing their body against each other. That is not intimacy. What intimacy means is that there is no resistance in you. It's just it's just what I'm saying, you are just grasping it without having a sense of a weighing scale that okay, he's saying something is there, not there, I'm understanding this, I'm not understanding this, and you're skeptical and everything. Not like that, but with a sense of trust. When I say trust, not believe, trust. Believe means okay, it is true what he has said. No. Trust means I don't know what he is saying. For me, he is saying a story. But let's hear the story and see if that story works out for me as well. Let's seek. Let's see. Let's try to get into depths of the story he is saying. Although the story can be the truth for him, but it's not a truth for me. But It may be a truth for me. It may become a truth for me. Who knows? So let's go deep into the aspects of that story. And you are hearing it without any resistance in your, in your heart or in your mind. That is intimacy. So when it comes to occult and mysticism, these things are spoken by Shiva to his consort Parvati Devi in a very intimate way. Like when she is asking with so much of devotion and faith, and Shiva is just spilling out the secrets like a mere conversation talk without have to think that whether it can be taken by Parvati or not. She has so many questions. She didn't have much, to be honest, because she had trust and devotion in Shiva. So these are the things. So only listen to it if you have an open mind, and you can have the necessary guts and courage to look deep into the matter, to experiment with yourself, because ultimately mysticism and spirituality is subjective sciences. You have to experiment it with yourself to know the truth. It's not someone can do it for you. You are your experiment lab in itself. That's why it's so interesting that you don't need any other than the guru. You are your experiment lab. Okay. So close your eyes and I will chant the invocation. You can focus your energy on the third eye, the Ajna chakra or the heart chakra, down the sternum where the rib cage meets. You can focus your mind there, or near the third eye where the eyebrows meet there, and be with me. Om Samsiddhaya Namaha. Om Guru Mandalaya Namaha. Om Mahahimalayaya Namaha. Om Ishaputraya Namaha. Om Kulle Kurukulle Deve Namaha. Om Mahakalaya Vikartanaya Mayadharaya Namo Namaha. So, when you come from a specific lineage, you have to honor the process that the lineage follows. It's similar to all the security checks that you have to go through while entering into your bank account, and also all the things that you have to go through while taking off a plane also. That security check is necessary because it helps to safeguard the pristine knowledge that the lineage holds. Okay. And especially spiritual sciences and mystical sciences are not related only to the physical plane. So their methods are also very varied and not appeal to the intellectual mind as such, because the intellectual mind still has a limitation. But we have to take it that whether it is true or not on the basis if it's working. If it's working, it may be true. It must be true because it's working for you. If it's not working, it's not the truth. Leave it and move on. Okay. So now let's talk about what is masculine and feminine. See, the universe, we can call it as creation. If there is creation, there must be source of creation. If there is something, it must have a source. Okay. So if we say source of creation and creation, so we always say the source as masculine, okay, and creation as feminine. Okay. If you see In terms of human beings, okay, this seed comes from the masculine, but the womb is of the feminine. Now, masculine and feminine is not person. These are different aspects of life, different dimensions of life and nature. You can find this the distinction of masculine and feminine in everywhere. In human beings also, masculine and feminine is present, but the energies are more propelled in different sexes, I would say. Okay, like if someone is a man, for him to do his biological work, biological activities, the masculine energy is more dominant in him, may be more dominant in him. And same happens with women. For the procreation aspect that she has to do, generally by default, the feminine is more active in him or in her. But that doesn't mean that it is the case with everyone. No. Nature always finds a way to show you that you can't fit nature into a box. Because ultimately the creation is feminine. So she will always have a sleeve in her cloth to show that no, you don't know everything. Okay. There are certain things that when you say this is it, she will always surprise you. That's how nature is. That's how feminine is. She is spontaneous. She always thinks outside the box. She is like a snake with slithers. If you want to go from point A to point B, if masculine walks in a straight line, feminine is like the snake. It will still go to that point, but she will take so varied ways that during when she deviates from the main straight line, you will think, where is she going? Where is she going? Similarly, the ways of the feminine are that. And since in spirituality and mysticism also, I would say in spirituality, you can also divide the paths of spirituality into two parts, the masculine path and the feminine path. Mysticism, specifically the occult and the deity part, comes under the feminine aspect because it doesn't make sense. Many of the things won't make sense, but it works. Okay. But I will try to intellectualize it. I will try to make you understand so you get the analogy, so that when you try, when it happens to you, means it works. And when it works, it's the truth. Okay. So feminine is like this. Feminine doesn't always take the straight path, but she will get you to the path. Nature is like that. Have you seen a forest? And have you seen a manicured garden? If you see the manicured garden, that is the designer of a gardener. Everything looks so symmetrical, in place. Everything follows its design that we can comprehend, we can understand. And if you go to the forest, if you see the forest from a outside perspective or a shallow perspective, you will find the forest has no sense of symmetry, no sense of design. It is everywhere, everything growing on everywhere. You can't find a symmetry. But if you leave the manicured garden for some time unattended, it will be dead. It will dry up. But the forest, if you leave it, it will flourish. Because the forest has a deep sense of design and symmetry, which we can't comprehend. And that design and symmetry is keeping the forest flourishing for generations and years to come, which the manicured garden doesn't have. That's how feminine works. That's how nature works. You won't be able to understand her ways, but she will get you there. That is the same case, I would say, with the feminine deities. Okay. That you think that they are like this, but they are not. They will always take you so through so unconventional ways, but rest assured that they will take you to your goal in the most fastest way. But fast is not always, soothing. It may be scary. Okay. So this is the way of the feminine. If feminine is always out of the box thinking, unconventional actions, feminine is embrace, where masculine is conquest. When I say conquest or embrace, what it means, a masculine always wants to dominate, always wants to conquer, okay, always wants to take precedence. That is the nature of the masculine energy. Okay. You can't blame because both are needed. Dominance is needed, servitude is needed. That is how energies are. So masculine always wants to take control, always wants to reach somewhere, always wants to expand, whereas the feminine always wants to embrace, always wants to include. Okay. Feminine always wants to give herself up, while masculine finds fulfillment by conquering. Feminine finds fulfillment by giving up. Okay. Now, if you use these analogies and look at your daily life, you will also find there is some parts of you which are masculine and some parts of you which are feminine. And there is, I would say, nothing to be ashamed of. Okay. If one thing takes more precedence on you through birth, or you can do it consciously through spiritual practices. Okay. There is nothing to be ashamed about, but you must know that every aspect, whether it be the masculine or the feminine, has a definite purpose. It only becomes a problem when you don't know where and how to use and harness these energies for which purpose, which situations. You think this is how you are. No, this is not how you are. These are the aspects of your energies. These are the aspects which make the mask that you wear, which is the personality, to function, to have different transactions with the world. That's where spirituality and mysticism comes in, that it provides you an edge over other people, that you can consciously craft your personalities and consciously manipulate this to energies so as to suit your needs. That is the power that spirituality gives you. That you are not a slave. You don't have only one mask that it got stuck to and you can't remove it. You know? You can have different masks and you can alternate the masks with percentages through various practices so as to do different tasks in the society. Okay. So these are the two forces that are always, it is called source, source of creation, yin and yang, Shiva and Shakti, you know, masculine and feminine. These are all terms used like in place of one another. If even if you see, it also has like, if you see, you are masculine as a life, but the energies, the minds, the emotions, the body that you have is feminine. Okay. If I say in other terms also, like if sun is masculine, the sunlight is feminine. Okay. So masculine and feminine you will come across. And instead of telling you to identify masculine and feminine, my way is like, if you do the practices, if you do certain practices, you will have that intuition or the comprehensive competence to understand by yourself that what is masculine, what is feminine, what is the relationship between them? It will come inside, from inside. If true to say, if IQ, okay, is masculine, EQ is feminine, intelligence quotient and emotional quotient. Okay, so these are always there. So emotion also has intelligence of its own, and that's the feminine intelligence, which is known as intuition. Okay, today's educational institutions have been very hard to harness the IQ of students, but they have left aside the EQ totally. And that is what is happening. We are seeing in the society as set of, I would say, mental health issues. It's because their EQ is not harnessed properly. The feminine side has been, I would say, dismissed completely. It's like one half of your being has been accepted, and one half of the being has been dejected from the society. When this kind of imbalance has been created, won't stress, anxiety, and all sorts of issues, mental health issues, will be common? Because these issues are just symptoms of the disbalance that you have created within yourself in the society. Today, the thing has happened, the feminine has no acceptance in the society. Even if you want to succeed in the society, you have to be masculine. And when you have to be masculine, in some ways you have to deject the feminine. And when you are dejecting the feminine, all sorts of issues will come up in your life, not issues related to survival, but issues related to the experience of life, the quality of life, how you're experiencing right now. You may be sitting in a cave and you are blissed out. You may be sitting in the palace, but you still feel miserable. That experience will only be altered when the feminine comes into your life. Masculine is necessary for the survival part of life. Masculine is very necessary if you want to survive, because masculine is a provider. Feminine is necessary to enjoy the finer aspects of life. Okay, you can have everything, but if you don't have the feminine, you can't enjoy life. And if you have feminine, no matter, your comforts are not there. See, our income level or the money we have decides the comforts, the level of comforts that we have, the levels of privileges and access that we have. But it doesn't control the quality of experience that we have in life. That will only happen through how much the feminine is active in you. Feminine always brings diversity. So, all the cultures where the feminine has been active, you will see more diversity, whether it be diversity in language, diversity in clothing, diversity in food, diversity in literally everything, because feminine brings diversity, masculine brings conformity. Means everyone has to fit the same straight jacket. Everyone has to be the same way. Everyone has to dress the same way. That is the way of the masculine. Feminine is, there is so many ways, but still everyone is accepting of each other. Feminine brings acceptance, masculine brings judgment, because judgment is necessary for survival. Because to survive, you need to discriminate from one thing to the other. You have to allocate your resources very wisely. So, their judgment, their conclusion, their discrimination is necessary to perform the activity. Otherwise, you won't survive. Whereas, feminine is related to acceptance, feminine is related to exploration, feminine is related to expansion of who you are. Okay. So I am not saying that masculine is bad or feminine is good. I'm just saying see the things as they are, as we talked in the previous episodes. See the things as they are. Now, once you have past the bar of survival, you have food, you have necessary money. I would say don't try to level up the bar of survival to such a degree that you are not exploring of who you are. You are not experiencing the other aspects of life, which you think may be a dream, but it's not. It's basics of who you should be. It's your fundamental right to experience the finer things in life. And you can't experience it because there is no room for feminine. Okay. So that is the thing, major, I would say, unfortunate thing in the society, that they are not accepting the feminine and bringing the feminine in. Although things are changing now in social media and everything, awareness is being created and it will start creating. And as the society progresses, people will know, will realize the value of feminine, and people are coming there only, you know especially with the youth and this generation and the later generation that is happening, is understanding the need for feminine, but still not yet there, very far from there, but we'll get there eventually, because life finds a way. Life is feminine. Life always finds a way to bring balance. Okay. But when she finds a way, it is very harsh way, like the extinction of dinosaurs. She has found a way, but it's not always the feasible way for us. So that doesn't happen. So it's very important that we consciously bring the feminine in us, or hype up the feminine in us to bring the balance with the masculine. Because to live life, to know life to the fullest extent, a man can't know life to the fullest extent, neither a woman can know life to the fullest extent. Only a one who has experienced life through both these aspects will know and have the holistic aspect of life. So if you can bring an harmonious balance between the masculine and feminine energies in you, you will know life to its fullest. Okay, otherwise you will only see one aspect of the coin, and you won't realize that although the coin has two sides, but it is the same coin. Although we are differentiating masculine and feminine, but they are same. Okay, some of these things may uh, make sense to you, some of these things may not make sense to you, and it's completely fine, because to understand, to grasp these concepts, you should have a reference point. Okay. Previously, I also told that even if I say the taste of how sweet is, you must have first tasted sweet, spicy. Then only I can say, oh, this is this much spicy. First, you have to taste the spice. Okay. For that, you need a reference point, and you haven't got a reference point. Some of you may have, some of you may not, and it's completely fine. That's why we give processes to do. If you follow the processes, then you may experience the taste, you may experience the sweet, and then you can, relate like that. So, these are the fundamental energies, the masculine and feminine playing everywhere. Okay. Now, where does these deities come? Previously, I told you that there are two ways to know who you are, or two spiritual paths. The one with deities, where I come from, my lineage comes from. The one without deities. The one without deities is the path of yoga, or I would say the Kriya Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, where you do yogic processes, you do intense meditation and all those asanas, and invoke the dormant energy Kundalini. It pierces your seven chakras, and then you know who you are energetically. It opens up your perception. But it takes a lot of practice, lot of consistency, lot of hard work, tremendous sense of discipline and commitment. Okay, because it is like you opening a uh, uranium in a radio closed room, and you have to handle the uranium properly, otherwise it may kill you. Okay, like that potent is kundalini, but it has to be harnessed properly. We'll come to the kundalini more in more detail in the future episodes, but for now, just you must have a little view, bird's eye view of what it is. Now, where does deities come in this like this? So deities are basically energy forms that are there in the existence. Okay, and through them you can open up various windows or perceptions to look into the existence, into different aspects of existence. Different deities have are like different windows to or doors to peek into the existence. Like if you want to know, for example, if I say, if you want to know the as the phenomena of death, what happens in death, what death is, okay, what is the process of death. So for that aspect, there is a particular deity which has been identified. You know, in India, people may know him. It is also a form, an expansion of Shiva, which is known as the Kala Bhairav. Kala means time. Bhairav means who who is beyond fear. Okay, so Kal Bhairav loosely translates into the one who is beyond time and fear. Okay, and what is the fear of time is death, that your time will run out, then you're dead. So if you want to know the intricacies of death, what you do is you try, instead of going the long route, you try to access that deity, that energy form which holds all the secrets to that form of the universe, to that aspect of the universe. And once you get connected to that deity, all the secrets, all the aspects that are associated with that aspect, suppose all the secrets, all the mechanics that are associated with death, the phenomenon of death, will start, you know, downloading in your consciousness. It's like in Google Drive, known as the universe, there are sub files, okay, like the file of death, and inside the folder of death there are many various documents and files, or or codes that build up the universe. So that death folder, suppose, is Kal Bhairav. Okay, and the most, I would say, profound aspect of Sanatan Dharma, of Hinduism, is that we have the technology of, you know, manifesting the unmanifested into a form that we can relate to. That's the technology of God making on consecration. That we have the technology to bring the unmanifested manifested into a form which we can relate to. Suppose the Kal Bhairava is a form which we can relate to, because he looks similar to a human being, but he is not. He is a existential aspect of the universe which has manifested into a form so that we can relate to, and relation is very much a prerequisite before we can access the folder of death. Okay, so mystics use deities in this way, that each deity holds some secrets into of different aspects of existence, and through accessing those, we also get to know what the behind the scenes of that aspect of existence holds. Okay, but that doesn't only like a folder. Since the deity has manifested into a form, you can also transact with the deity like you transact with human beings. Because Ultimately, if the deity is unmanifested and manifested into a human like form, he or she will also have the characteristic personality traits like human beings. Like human beings. I'm not saying of human beings, like human beings, so that you can relate to. Because the existence ultimately has its own intelligence and is also conscious. Existence is living. Only if the existence is living and conscious can we have a conscious and intelligence of our own. If the existence itself is not intelligent and conscious, we can't have that. Okay, because we are also an outcrop of this existence. So, in whole, the existence is also a large living macro body. Okay, from the atom to the existence, the constitution and the mechanism and the structure or the building block is the same. It only varies in the complexity of the design. Okay, whether it's a cell or we as human beings or this planet or the solar system, everyone, the fundamental design is same, but the design is only multiplied in complexity. Okay, so the existence itself is living, has its own intelligence, and has its own consciousness. It's like a body, big body, and that we refer that big body, since the existence is like a big macro body, has its own intelligence and consciousness, we call the existence as Virat Purush. Virat means big, Purush means a being. Okay, so Virat Purush, the macro body. Okay, so in this Virat Purush, since we are an outcrop of this Virat Purush, we also have intelligence and being. And since the deities are different aspects of that existence, of this existence, so they are also, they have their own intelligence and they have their own personality traits, because they have certain aspects of universe, so that gives them a different level of personality. Okay, and since they have taken the form as human beings, so we have to interact with them like human beings. Because this is the only way we can relate to them, otherwise we can't relate. Okay, since we need to relate to them as human beings, so the ritualistic ways, so the rituals are fantastic devices to access the deities in such a smooth way, otherwise we don't have the capacity to access them. So the rituals are created in step by step order. Okay, we will also come in depth what rituals are, the mechanics of rituals, like the five elements that are used in the practicing the rituals. Everything will come, but I'm just giving you first a like a layman grasp. Then we will slowly dive deeper and deeper and deeper. Because for this to grasp, also you need a certain level of reference point, and for that you need to do certain spiritual practices to even to grasp what I am saying. Okay, so when the deity has taken in human form, we need to transact. And it's like if you have seen Superman, yeah, if you same, it's like let's take the case of artificial intelligence. Okay, Chat GPT is an artificial intelligence AI language model. You type it there, it gives you, but it's it's basically it has all the data and the memory of all the things that has been written down in the internet, and it takes and guarantees. It's like artificial intelligence, no? So you can say the same thing about deities, that deities are existential intelligence. Okay, now Chat GPT doesn't have a form. Okay, but after some time it may also happen that the Chat GPT can take a form and interact with you. Okay, the similar way, existence has its own intelligence, and when a segment of that existence intelligence manifests into a form, we call that form a deity. That's why India has so many gods and goddesses, so many deities, because India has, or Bharat has done extensive research to niche down each and every aspect that the existence holds. It's like so niche down, so niche down, so niche down, so segmented, because each segment is a world by itself. Creation is so vast that to study that, even lifetimes take less. Okay. So we have niched down, and each niche is a different aspect of deity in itself. Okay. Like you have physics. In physics, also, we have quantum physics and particle physics. Okay. And in quantum physics, also, you will have distinctions. In particle physics, also, you have distinctions. We have chemistry. Chemistry has physical chemistry, organic chemistry, and what is the other? Inorganic chemistry. In organic chemistry, also, you have niches, subsections. Similarly, suppose a deity is Shiva. Shiva is like science. Now, in Shiva, also, there are different forms of Shiva, different aspects of Shiva. So it's like physics, chemistry, bio. Okay. So which aspect of Shiva do you want to study? Which aspect of Shiva do you want to get access to? Will will tell you that which aspect of the universe you want to know or grasp. Okay. So these deities are like existential intelligence. It's the celestial forces, forces beyond this material plane, which you can access. And it doesn't, the main function of deities, although it's the main function to know the different aspects of the universe, but it also gives you unfair advantage over life. Now suppose, for example, you have gotten access to the ferocious form of Shiva known as Kal Bhairav. He is the lord of death. Means if you can access him, you will gain mastery over death. Okay, you will gain mastery over death. And there are many yogic laws in which one boy was there named Markandeya, and he got access to this form of Shiva, and time stopped for him. He never died. Okay, there is certain stories in the mystical lore. It may be looking fairy tale-ish, but I'd say no. The feminine is always doesn't appeal to the logic. It's only the masculine that appeals to the logic. The feminine doesn't appeal to the logic. It has its own ways, but it gets the work done. Okay. You don't need to understand her. You need to embrace the feminine. You need to accept the feminine for who she is. Feminine is always out of the box. Feminine is always away, deviated from the standard norms of the society. But she is the one who gives you the experience, the zest of life. So, occult and mysticism falls under the feminine path. Feminine path means it doesn't make much sense, but only when you know it will you experience it. And to know it is to seek it, to accept the things that are needed to get to that point without any judgment, without any skepticism. Faith is also the way of the feminine. I'm not saying belief. Belief is a different thing. Okay. So occult and mysticism are feminine aspects, and deities are also in the feminine category, because there is someone other that you are trying to access and you're trying to connect. Okay. Now each deity, like I told you, that this form of Shiva known as Kal Bhairav has the secrets to time and space and death. There is other aspects of Shiva also, other aspects of the feminine. These are masculine deities that I talked about. There are feminine deities as well, like Kali. Kala and Kali. Kala means time. Kala also means space. Kali is all means she is time and space herself, the feminine aspect related to time and space. If you can access Kali, you will know from where this universe began, because she is the source of everything. She holds the secrets to the dark matter. which the modern science is trying to grasp. She holds the secret. So if you can, either you can go through conducting experiments, or you can take the other path, which is direct access to her, and through her you will know. It's like, I have given this example before also, that suppose you have to submit a dissertation, and you, on one path, you do everything manually, means go to the library, go through the journal papers, write down, jot it down, like people used to do 50 years back, writing research papers. Or you do it in today's world, like you have a laptop, you have an internet connection, you have an access to the library, and whatever you want, you can go to Google and see the paraphrasing tools that you have, everything you want to have, and you submit it online in the Dropbox submission folder, and you can see how much plagiarism you have, check, and you submit, and it will get done. One is with technology, one is without technology. Same thing you're doing, submitting the your project file. So which one takes less time and which one is more efficient? Similarly with the case of deities and without deities. It's not that without deities you can't know, you can know, but it is a very uphill task. Very uphill task. And other aspects of deities, not only know about the universe, to know about yourself is also that I previously talked about Kundalini, the chakras that you have, the different chakras. So each deity, if you get access, is associated with one or two or three of the chakras, or all of the chakras. Okay. So what can happen is, like, if you can connect yourself with that deity, through that deity your chakras will also open up. It's like using AI, artificial intelligence. Suppose intelligence is connected to something. It's like, what I would say. Mm, Suppose the artificial intelligence is connected to some of the achievements that are locked, okay, that are locked somewhere, that you can unlock, whether you complete those milestones. There are certain milestones and the achievements are locked. Only where you complete those milestones, that will get unlocked. You can go through that, you can complete those milestones and get the achievement done. Or your artificial intelligence in a computer is linked with those achievement files, and if you can access that intelligence, you can tell her that unlock those boxes for me, and it will just open it for you. Same with the existential intelligence known as deities. If you're connected to a specific deity, depending on how holistic the deity is, he or she may open up those chakras by itself. You don't have to do the hard work of doing all those meditation and practices and everything. Okay. But the most, I would say, most best thing with the deities, I would say, since they have their intelligence of their own, and that intelligence is much larger. It's an existential intelligence, guys. We have our sense of intelligence of this body. We also have the intelligence, but our sense of intelligence is very narrow because we have this body. But the deities, since they are representing different aspects of the universal intelligence, existential intelligence, their intelligence also may not be whole, because there are maybe a subsection, but still much larger than our finite intelligence as a human being. Okay. Means the deity can see the best path of progress of us as a life than we can see for ourselves, because there are n number of factors that we don't know which shapes our life, which the deity is, since it's an higher position, it's an higher intelligence, can grasp on us. And if you have that kind of faith and devotion and that sense that, okay, the deity, since has a higher existential intelligence that we as human beings have, the deity may know what's the best course for us to evolve as a life. And whatever he or she guides through, we can go through that path. But that doesn't mean everything will be flowers and, bed of roses. No. When you evolve in life, you have to go through unconventional paths that the society has chosen for you, because the society will only choose paths which is safe, which is secure, which is where the survival higher, there is higher chances of survival. But remember, if the masculine is for survival, the feminine is for expansion. You have come here as human beings not only to survive, but also to expand the limits of your experience, the limits of your competence. And when you stop limiting those expansions, you will know fulfillment of life. You will know the beauty of life. Because have you ever experienced, guys, that everything is going fine for you, everything is happening, your income is coming, everything, but still there is something that is like, no, like I'm stuck here. There's something that is missing. Why? Because the non-physical aspect of you, which is related to expansion, the feminine aspect of you wants to expand, but due to the constraints that you have put yourself as a means of survival, although it's surviving, making you survive, it has restricted you like a cage, like a prison. And the walls of self preservation that you have has become the walls of self imprisonment. And you as a life want to expand, but you are not expanding, and that is leading the frustration, that suffocation. But through your mere eyes you are seeing that everything is fine. But why am I feeling this anxiety? Why am I feeling this stress? This is the reason. You're not letting the other aspect of you to expand your horizons. And that is also the reasons why most of the people who are into adventure sports and entrepreneurs, you know they tune into the feminine aspect of life more. They want adventure, they want to gain new terrains, want to explore new areas of life that they didn't yet explored. Although there is risk, there will always be risk in expansion, but you have come here as a life to explore the different areas of life, not to survive. Survival is necessary to get this body running and everywhere, but that is the basic requirement. That is not the end goal. Okay. And the deities help you to realize these aspects of life much, you know, with much holistic perception, I would say. Not only different aspects of life, if the deity has a different personality trait, you can access that personality trait also. The deity since different aspects of the existence, are different forces of the existence. You can also access those forces, and you can use them to suit your needs in life. And accessing those forces is what we call as siddhis, or you will say supernatural powers. Okay. The different yogis and mystics have showed, it's basically they have accessed different forces, the celestial beings, and then they have used it. Some use it to cause havoc, some use it to help others. It depends of what how you use it. That's why these techniques are very confidential, very secret. That's why tantra and occult has been kept a secret. Okay. Not disclosed to everyone and everybody, because once you get the key you can cause havoc. Okay. It's best that you don't get the key altogether. You may think, okay, it may be hoax, it doesn't work. It Many of the practices, many of the things maybe you have tried but it doesn't work, is because the technology is locked, it's sealed. It has to be unlocked first, then only you can use it and it will work. Suppose I have given you a mantra, and you have chanted the mantra, it doesn't work. It won't work because it is sealed, it has been locked. You need to know the password and you need to unlock the mantra or the spell to have its effect. And that needs a certain kind of expertise. Okay. So that is the function of deities. But I would say I have explored different deities, and how I can say, it's like people who are around me, they know how I am, how I my presence is, because I have a tinge of feminine in me, not the domestic feminine, not the manicured feminine, but the raw femininity. Okay, which doesn't much adhere to the norms of the society, but it's all inclusive and all accepted. That's why you will see that people who have seen me beforehand will feel certain ick or eerie, but will feel drawn to my presence. That's the nature of femininity, core femininity. Okay. That also because the association with various feminine deities that I have been associated with, and it's a very, cherishing experience. Not only, I will also go more detailed into different deities because they each hold a different perspective and different aspect of life in detail. Like I give you a mere example of Kal Bhairav, who holds the secrets of death, time, and space. Okay. So this is how, and in I will in the future videos, in the future podcast also, I'm thinking that I will also bring certain practices, although basic, seem very basic, but are very potent exercises, practices that if you do with faith and acceptance, will work for you. If you even get a tiny access to those existential forces, your life will drastically change, and that drastic change is also very big thing for you. Although in the terms of life it's not a very big thing, but if those access help you to get better in life, in material aspects, in financial aspects, in emotional aspects, that is a very big thing for you. So I will reveal very simple but potent practices that if you practice, will do wonders for you. And you will get to know a completely different aspect of the universe which you have not yet explored. It's completely out of your you know of your exposure. Okay. So I think this is it for today's podcast, and in future podcast, let's see how you know we I can empower you so that you can realize that survival is not the only thing, and you can only realize that when you can transcend the bar of survival and lay down your feet into the bar of exploration. Okay. Thank you, namaskaram, and see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Transcend with Shubham. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained some valuable insights. If you want to learn more about spirituality, mysticism, and mental well being, be sure to check out my website, transcendsutras108.com, for online coaching sessions and weekly blog posts. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to reach out to me on social media. Until next time, keep transcending.